Welcome to the Redirect, Regroup, Refocus podcast with your host, life coach Jeff Releford. This podcast is designed for those who wish to change their inner self in order to maximize outward potential. So come redirect, regroup, and refocus with your number one life coach, Jeff Releford.
Hello. It's your boy, life coach Jeff. Hey, I'm so glad that you are all tuning in today on this Monday again for another episode of the Redirect, Regroup, Refocus podcast. Once again, like I always say, we value you as a listener here. You know, I'm just grateful for the fact that you want to listen, you want to take something in, and you want to focus on changing your inner self to maximize your outward potential, because that's what we're here for, people. We're going to focus on that inner change to maximize your outward potential. And I want to stick on that type of subject matter today, because what I really want to talk about now is you telling your story. And I'm going to tell my story to help somebody here today. That's what I truly want to do. I was listening to another podcast, and Eric Thomas, I don't know if you are familiar with Eric Thomas. Man, he is the truth, y'all. He is the ultimate truth. He wrote a book called You Owe You. And I just got to listen to him with this commentary, talk about his book, talk about a little bit of his life and everything like that. And I'm like, man, and he is correct. You know, you owe it to yourself to tell your story. You truly do. And I want to tell this to y'all. I don't think I effectively have done that here. So what I truly want to do today is I want to tell y'all my story. And I want to tell y'all my story because it can help somebody. It truly can help somebody. So I want you to picture this. Picture this. Let me see. Picture this. You're 12 or 13 years old. Okay. And something that should be celebrated, okay? Celebrated amongst your community of your peers, okay? Like, I'm going to tell y'all like this. Now, I veered off into this lifestyle of coaching, okay? Coaching and speaking, because I knew that God had something greater for me. But I had to figure that out, though, people. I had to figure that out. Now, in the black community, what we tend to do is in church, okay? In church, I used to go to a Baptist church. I'm not going to name the Baptist church because the thing is I'm just trying to tell the story. Real events, but I don't want to, cause any attention to say names and all this other stuff like that, So I used to belong to a Baptist church. When I belonged to this Baptist church, people have to realize, remember I say watch how you treat people? And what I mean by in this particular time, when I say watch how you treat people, what I mean is it's not in a negative way. And what I mean by, okay, let me see if I can swing back again. What I mean by watch how you treat people is merely just know how the things that you say or do have an opportunity to affect somebody, okay, as time goes on. Because what you'll see is, when I tell my story, you're going to understand and see and notice how the things that were actually said to me when I was younger, it morphed me into the person that I am today. It took a while to get to this point. And as I say this, I want to say this also. Everybody's struggle ain't the same struggle. Okay? Everybody's struggle isn't the same struggle. But one thing we all do have in common as people is that we all have a story to tell that is relatable to others, that can help somebody get over the hump. Does that make sense, people? We all have a story that we can tell that can actually help somebody get over the hump because, listen, we are all humans. So therefore, we're relatable. So with us being humans, we are relatable to one another. That doesn't mean that no one is better. This actually means, to an extent, we are all cut from the same cloth in terms of creation. I want y'all to think about that. Remember that. We are all cut from the same cloth in terms of creation, okay? What makes us different is our intellect, the spirit man that is actually inside of us, okay? that breath of life that is actually breathed into us. That's what makes us different, that spirit, man. So I want to drop that in there. But I do want to say this also, leading into the story. Just picture this. Picture yourself being a 12 or 13-year-old young man and young lady, and something that should be celebrated amongst and within the church, such as you going in and telling somebody that you have a calling on your life. Now, I hadn't, when I was that young, people, I want to tell y'all this. I had never really known what it was to preach. Okay? Now, please, don't turn this off because you hear the word preach. There's something behind this. Okay? There is something behind this. I guarantee you, this isn't what you think it's going to be. So listen very closely. I had to learn that preaching comes in different styles, because what happened was I was denied my calling to preach when I actually told my mother this. Okay? I was actually told, because I'm a twin, I was actually told that I was not the one that was actually supposed to preach. I was told this, people. I was actually told this to my face. And on more than one occasion, I was told this by people. So in a culture where when you announce or you say to someone that you have a calling on your life and you are called to preach, it's usually something that's celebrated and cultivated as time goes on. Okay? Now, usually what will happen is somebody will take you under their wing once you say you have a calling to preach, per se. Okay? They take you under their wing and they'll teach you. They'll start to teach you. They'll start to harvest and cultivate it if it's truly in you. And I want to say this because the thing is, see, people, I grew up as the twin. Okay? I grew up as the twin that was considered the rebel twin. And I will say this, if anybody is a twin that is listening, constant comparison will always happen. Constant comparison will always happen. And it sucks sometimes. And it really does suck, because you spend your life, or majority or somewhat of your life, trying to actually separate. Okay? Trying to separate, because you're two different people. Me and my brother are two totally different people. But I will say this. God has ordained us to touch the lives of people and to reach people. So I will say this. You do have to know your purpose. You have to know your role and know your purpose. I just happen to at least know my purpose. But at the time, I did not know my particular role. Does that make sense? I knew my purpose, but I did not know my particular role at the time. Okay? I want y'all to remember that as we move forward, because things have a way of still working out. Like I say, I don't care what you believe in. I believe in God. You know what I mean? That's my whole source of belief. I believe in Jesus as well. I believe he came. He served partially his purpose by coming and dying for the sins of the world. That's what I believe in. You know what I mean? So that's what I represent. That's what I'm going to say. We not even going to get into a debate about it or nothing like that and asking all these questions and all this stuff. I'm just sharing, people, that's what I believe in. So I belong to a Baptist church. I said that I was called to preach. I went in my mother's bedroom. I said that, not knowing that moments after my twin brother, was going to go in and say the exact same thing. He went in my mother's room and said the exact same thing. Very interesting, people. Very interesting. Some would just say that's how God works. That's just how the universe is, blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. Some people will say, oh, coincidence. Hey, once again, things happen for a reason. And also at that time, I remember also saying that to my pastor as well. And just because I used the term at the time, I believe. I said I believe and I know. And I said I believe and I know. It will be real. I always knew that I had purpose to talk to people, to spread good news to people. And I'm not trying to even sound cliche when I said that, when I say that. What I mean by spread good news is uplift people, you know, I always knew it was in me to uplift people, but I just needed the direction to go. And it's crazy because over the years and as time went past, people showed me that through the church, that was not the way to do it. Now, what I mean by completely through the church is through a building, okay? Because there's a misconception here, people. We would like to think that the church, okay, is just a physical building. But in the place where I like to go and study, called the Bible, which has a plethora of scriptures, which are just things that they're passages that you read, that you can go and you can live your life on. Based on those passages, you can make a decision of what you want to do when given a solution through what is called scriptures. So that's how I view it. Okay, people, that's how I view it in the simplest way possible. Now, some people listening may sit up here and say, well, Jeff, that's wrong. Life coach Jeff, that's wrong. But how? It's no different from when you read anything else, such as I have a book of quotes out right now. A book of 20 quotes. It's called Redirect, Shifting Mindset. It actually just dropped a few days ago. I'm proud of that. But it's no different from me having a book of quotes that has the ability to uplift somebody and change somebody's life. Once you read it, you have a certain perception of what you think that means to you, right? You have a certain perception of what you think that means to you. And you take it and you run with it and you go with it. Now, you can still study it, you know what I mean, to see what it means. You can still rightly divide it, right? Just like you do the Bible. So all I'm saying is this, people. Whenever you take something, you learn and you study and you read and you do anything, such as the Bible, the Torah, any type of scriptures, any type of book, you know what I mean? Do your due diligence. But with something like that, know what it means to you. The Bible does teach you to learn about yourself. It really does. Because I'm telling you, to contrary belief, somebody will tell you it's all about one man's story. And it is. In a sense, it is about one man's story. But what God also teaches you is how you too have power. And we often miss that. We miss that. When you start to look at different religions and cultures and stuff like that, they're all relatable in some type of way. They are all relatable in some type of way. And the common denominator is looking inside yourself. That's the common denominator. Looking inside yourself so you can learn who you are as a person, so you can positively affect the roles of people. Positively affect the roles of people. So, back on subject here. So, what happened was, like I said, I sat up here, I was denied it by my pastor and my mother at the time. Now, like I say, just because somebody denies you something, that doesn't mean they're bad people. Come on now, because I already know how this goes. I'm sitting up here telling a story. Somebody's going to automatically think that I'm trying to say somebody's a bad person, blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. Okay, look, I'm not telling this to cry wolf. I did that already. I did that in my early 20s. You know what I mean? I'm 32 years old. I did that in my early 20s because I didn't want to, and I realized that I had to actually move past this thing because, once again, interchange to promote the best outward self that you can be, okay? It's always an inward change that you have to go through to promote the best outward self that you can become. And I knew if I went around and I harbored anger, because when somebody denies you anything, it's like when somebody tells you no. We harbor some type of anger or we feel some type of way. Or as we say, as we say, and the young people say, we be in our feelings. We're in our feelings when it comes to stuff like that. But what I had to do at a young age was harbor that myself. Okay? Harbor it, look into it, and master why I was denied. Ooh, we people. A lot of times people can't understand that. You have to master why you're going through what you're going through. You have to master why you were denied. And that's what I chose to do. I chose not to be angry. I chose not to be sad. I chose not to be confused. But I chose to go down a path of searching to who I could become. How to really go down a path and ask the question, who is Jeff Releford? You know? Who am I? Who truly am I? So I had to ask that question. It was a journey of self-discovery. Okay? It was a journey of self-discovery. And I'm grateful that I went through that journey of self-discovery, because with me being denied, I was also with an older woman at the age of 19. Okay? I was with an older woman at the age of 19. And at the time, it was great. You know, at the time, it was perfect. Shoot, we were together, 10 years? 10 years, yeah. You know? And we were actually married for 3 of those years. You know, there was a big age discrepancy and disparity. But, you know, at the time, people, I'm going to tell you something. At the time, things look good to you, but it might not always be good to you. And, you know, it's not to say that we're not going to make mistakes along the way. You know, people come into your life and they serve a purpose. And I will say this, when I was with this woman, it served the purpose of it grew me up. It really did. It grew me up quite fast. There was, like I said, there was a big age disparity between the two of us. And what it did was it just grew me up, yo. Now, did I miss out on some of those years? I could have been kicking it with my people and everything. Yes, I did. But it taught me some discipline. So things happen for a reason, yo. I wasn't the young kid who was out there ripping and running in the streets, going out there doing what I wanted to do. Shoot, majority of the time, I was at the crib. I was at the crib chilling. You know, I didn't go out and do a lot with my people at the time. You know, it just taught me some good discipline, looking back on it and see how it affects my life now. Because that's the thing, people. Whenever you go through something in life, you have to remember that everything that you go through is for a reason. Everything that you go through is for a reason. Nothing just happens by chance. And if you're one of those people that think it does, okay, that's fine with you. That's fine with me. You know, think that. It's cool. But when something does happen, learn from it. Always remember and know that you can learn from anything that you go through. And that's what I realized when I was with that person at that time. You know, when you go through the motions, whenever you go through a breakup, things are nasty. You know, things get thrown around. People start to assume, you know what I mean? You have to prove. And it happened. You know what I mean? Things happen. But nonetheless, it never takes away from when you can tell somebody is a good person, but you can also see that people have to work on themselves as well. I'm going to say this, because as I was with my ex, I still did a lot of working on me in my younger years. That's the thing. Like I said to y'all, I did everything I could to learn who Jeff Releford was, what type of a person that Jeff Releford was. I did everything I could to do that. I really did. I didn't have to go searching through people. You know, I didn't do that. I didn't go searching through people. I went through a time period after my divorce with this woman. Well, I was out there. I was wilding out, man. I went out there. I was wilding out. Now, everything is tied together. Remember, I told you I was denied my calling and everything like that, right? I told you I was denied the calling. I told you I went on this search to figure out who Jeff really is and how who I am can effectively reach people. I went on that whole journey because I said to myself, if I'm going to get denied in one sector, there's a way that I can still reach people, but it's in an unconventional way to the church, but it's still the same effective role. Unconventional way to the church, but it's still the same effective role. It's quite interesting, people, that, you know, a lot of times people don't think about stuff like that. And when you start to look at the role of a life coach, okay, when you look at the role of a life coach and what a coach does, it's actually the same role as what? A pastor or a preacher. It's very interesting because we don't really think about these dynamics. We don't really want to see how we can relate them spiritually. Okay? We don't want to, we don't care to know how different things work. We don't care to know how other processes are. When you start to look at what a life coach does, what does a life coach do? They guide you. They help you. They make sure that you go down the right path in life based on a set of beliefs, specific principles, and guidelines, either that they create or it's already created. I tend to tell people and coaches, if you are going to create a system that people can follow, create a system of guidelines that people can follow. So that way you have something to teach and you have something to fall back on. I'm grateful that I've been able to do that. I have something called the R3 system, and the R3 system has greatly helped myself over the years, because all it is it was a system that I was already implementing and doing. And I just went ahead. I created it for people so that they can be aware of shifting the mindset, self-awareness, and call to action. So that's what I did. That's my contribution to me owing myself. That's my contribution to me owing myself and me being able to help people. So like I said, once I was denied, I went on the journey trying to figure everything out. I was with my ex-wife at the time, who, like I said, we had an age discrepancy between us, age disparity between us. Yeah, you could say discrepancy too, because the age gap was too big. It's something I can laugh about now, but in the moment, I was in love. In the moment, I was in love. You know what I mean? I really was. And that love started to fall out because as you get older, you grow. As you get older, you grow. And you start to look for things. I'm not saying you're looking for things to be fulfilled. But when you want to grow with a person, you want a person to really run with you. And just to be honest and completely clear, she just couldn't run with a brother. She just couldn't. It's not that nobody could keep up with each other. And what I mean by run with somebody is merely this. When you actually have time to grow and you want more for you, okay? I feel that when you want more for yourself, it doesn't change with your age. It doesn't matter how old you are. It does not matter how old you are at all. The thing is, people, is that you should always want to strive to have better, no matter what age you are. So that is why I was able to be with somebody who had a bigger age gap with me. The age gap, I'll just let y'all know, the age gap was like 30 years. That was the age gap. Okay? So I want y'all to just put that in perspective. Here I am, 19, 20-year-old man, or boy, as some people would say, because I've now opened up myself to ridicule and judgment, but I'm not ashamed of it, because why? It's something that I went through. You didn't have to go through it. And since you didn't go through it, you have no reason to judge me. But all you can do is know that I learned from my own experience. Bam, boom. I said it and it's done. So he who was without sin cast the first stone. That's all I got to say. We all had some skeletons in our closet and some old bones to dig out. So if you got something to say about me, look at yourself first. Okay, that's that accountability portion. Okay, we got that out of the way. That's the accountability portion. But, as I went through all that, I had to learn some things. I learned some things about myself. And I'm constantly learning about myself. I'm at a new level now because, like I said, once I got out of that marriage and I went through divorce, I went through a dark period. I went through a dark period for about, and I will say a couple weeks, and I say a couple weeks, and it was a dark period because that's what I remember. Okay? We tend to grasp and take a hold onto the things that really affected us. And a lot of people say 2 weeks is not a long time. 2 weeks is a long time. I was already isolated from people already when I was in my marriage, okay? And then when I was in that relationship, I was already isolated from people. Like, I didn't do a lot. I literally gained like a couple friends. And I rarely did anything with those people. And those people really wanted me to do stuff with them. But the only reason why I didn't do anything was because it wasn't because of me. It was because the person that I was with did not want to
go out and experience those things, you know. Now, that's merely all it was. And that's the truth. That's the whole truth. I ain't got no reason to hide nothing or hold nothing back. That's the whole truth, you know. So sometimes when you start telling the truth, people get upset, but it's definitely a part of the story, man. Definitely a part of the story. So, you know, ex-wife, she didn't want to go out. She didn't want to do nothing, you know, and that greatly affected me. So as I went through, I was just thinking about, you know, what can I do to maximize Jeff? You know, as I'm learning about me, I kept reading the Bible, learning about the different power that I have inside of me that I can use to positively affect other people. Okay, what is it inside of me that I can do to help be great and be better? But this particular person did not want to do the same. Did not want to do the same. I got blamed for a lot. I was told I was controlling. I was told I was a narcissist, all that stuff. So that's why I said that 2-week period was tough, because I did not believe in me. I looked at myself as a failure. And I don't know if any of y'all have felt that way. You know, when you start to look at yourself as a failure and you truly base words of what other people say onto you, and you know you're the complete opposite of that. You know what I mean? I just don't know if anybody's been there where, like, sometimes, and it was to the point to where, now see, I'm never too big not to look at myself or say, could it be me? Okay? Never get the big head people where you get to a point and you say, no, I'll never do that. Don't do that. Don't say I'll never. Because the thing is, maybe that person saw something in you that you didn't see. But it's up to you to question it, and then you put it to the test. It's up to you to question it and then put it to the test. Somebody said it to you, question it and just see. Nobody's saying you're going to be put on trial, you're going to be guilty. Nobody said that. But you owe it to yourself to at least try to see if what that person said was true about yourself. Now, merely at that time, I had nothing else to base it off of. You know, I wasn't really kicking it with my people like that. I would always try to go see my family, but even with my family, you know, family can be biased, and I didn't have many friends around me at that time to really base that on. So I was in deep thought. I was literally in the house for 2 weeks. I'm still going. All I did was go to work and go home. 2 weeks. Go to work and go home. Now, people know me. I would be on the move a lot. You know, and what I mean by on the move a lot is I try to bowl. I do other stuff like that. And even with me bowling, I really took a lot of content in that, because that was really my outlet, yo. That was the time when I can get out and go out and actually do something. But even at that time, I was still checked on, called on. You know, I couldn't even be at the bowling alley 30, 45 minutes, always getting a call, always getting a text, always getting checked up on. It was a lot. The trust just was not there at all. The trust just was not there at all. You know what I mean? And even to the point, I'll be honest and I'll say this. What I did was, because I was being neglected, I had a friend. Not even a friend. I met this person at Meijer, y'all, at the grocery store. And didn't even give her my number because I felt she didn't need to have my number. So what I did was downloaded the app and I gave her a number off the app. That's what I did. Because I was like, you know what, man? I said, nah, that's a little too invasive and intrusive for me. You know what I mean? And I was honest. And I sat up here and I told her about it. And the big part was, I don't think we never confronted why it happened. You know, a lot of times people will push you away. You know what I mean? And that's not, I'm not going to sit up here and place all blame, but you got to remember I was younger. You know what I mean? And I was trying to do right. I was really trying to do right. And emotionally, I got pushed out. It just happens, people. It happens to more people than what you actually think. Emotionally, I got pushed out. So, like I told y'all, denied calling, on the journey trying to figure out who Jeff Releford truly is. And then once it's figured out, we're not even there yet because I still got more of the story to go. I'm sorry, y'all. We're gonna go a little over today because I have a lot to say. I just have a lot to say because I truly believe that this is going to help somebody. So as I was denied, I got with somebody who was older. And then I was on the journey trying to figure out who I was. She didn't want to grow with me at all. Long story short, we got a divorce. It wasn't anything too crazy. We were only together 3 years. And then I went through a dark period of actually believing of all the negative things that she said to me and about me. Now, I'm not going to say she was out here smearing my name into the streets. She wasn't doing that. No, she wasn't doing that. I would like to think that she wouldn't do that. I would like to think of her as a bigger person than that, because I wasn't bashing her name out here in the street. So, I'm not going to think that about her. Still got respect for her. Hope she's doing well. And if she's listening, I really hope she's doing well, yo. I really do. I want nothing but the best for people. If you want ill will on me, that's fine. People can have ill will on me, but what's the words that are going to fall out of my lips are like, I hope you're doing good and I hope you're happy. So let's say that. So after that happened, I did date somebody else. I did. Oh, the story gets better, people. It just gets so much better because I'm going to tell it all. And I'll say this to the point to where I was actually dating this woman while I was still legally married. So while I was still legally married, I did date this woman. You know what I mean? I did go ahead and explore, hang out with her, all of that stuff. Once again, I was emotionally broken, y'all. I'm telling you, if you've never known how that feels, one, you can't comment on it if you've never known how that feels to be emotionally broken. You know what I mean? Reduced down to the lowest point to where you just feel like you don't have anything left to give, So I'm just being open, transparent, honest. That's how I truly felt, y'all. So long story short, I went ahead, I dated somebody else. And, well, I ain't going to say long story short because it's more connected to this too. Man. So I went ahead, I dated somebody else, and not knowing that she was also, she wanted to get a divorce from her husband. I sat up here, I found that out and everything, and apparently dude was crazy. But then I come to find out that she herself had went and got the divorce based off assumptions, just assumptions. Now, this is crazy. Okay, now, see, I did what I did. Now, I got the divorce based off of merely not being able to grow with somebody. That's what it was. I remember her saying to me the last time we spoke, I told her, I said, if you truly be who God has called you to be, you will come out fine on the other side. I came out fine on the other side. It had nothing to do. This merely had to do with just me following what God had for me. Merely. And I'm going to be honest. Some people might not believe that, but that's truly what it is. I'm able to come out on top and still be good with everything that I got going on right now because that's me stepping out on faith. I've always just been a person to just step out on faith. Sometimes don't even think twice, and any ramifications that come after that is because I know that I'm an adult, and I have enough sense not to blame the entity, meaning God. I'm not going to blame God, the entity, for saying, hey, you put this in my life. No, there are certain things that we allow in our lives, right? There are certain things that we allow in our lives. So then we have to face the ramifications because we allow certain things in our life. So I take full responsibility of everything that I've done. Everything that I've done. So here we are. I'm now dating somebody else. We was together for about 2 years or so. And yeah, she had, how many kids she got? 4 kids? Yeah, she had 4 kids and whatnot. And she was staying with her mom, different stuff like that. Just trying to make it. Okay, I get it. You separating and everything like that. My divorce happened and then her divorce was final afterwards. You know what I mean? So I thought everything was great. But see, when you see things from people, okay, I want to tell y'all this. When y'all see stuff from people, you know what I mean? Go with your first mind sometimes. And if you feel like it's an assumption, ask a question. I say that to say this. I kind of believe that she still had feelings for her ex-husband. Okay, I believe that she had feelings for her ex-husband. But, I just kind of let it go. You know what I mean? I said, it's kind of tough. She going through some stuff, but she was hell-bent on wanting to leave. You know what I mean? So she was so hell-bent on wanting to leave. She knew that's what she wanted to do. So she thought. She knew that was what she wanted to do. So, go through the motions. Emotionally, we were there for each other because we both went through things afterwards emotionally, Just that growth. It was that growth period. You know what I mean? So we both went through the growth stages. And then once again, here it is. Once again, because I'm looking for how God can use me. It was very interesting. This particular woman, she was very interesting, y'all. She was a heck of a character. I'll say that. She was one of those people who she could really get you roped in. She could really get you roped in. She'll tell you her story. She might make you cry a little bit. She'll try to get you to cry. And then by the time that happens, you get roped in so good that you don't see a lot of stuff till after the fact. Because you can get wrapped up in trying to help. You know what I mean? You can get really wrapped up in trying to help. So a little word of advice for anybody else who's listening here. Never get too wrapped up into a person. Okay? Never get too wrapped up into a person to where you start to lose yourself. Never. Never. Telling y'all, never get too wrapped up to where you start to lose yourself. Because that's what happened when I was with her. I was neglecting the fact that she still wanted to be with her ex-husband. Even after the fact, when we talked about it, she denied it so many times. And I do have to thank her, though, because Life Coach Jeff would not be Life Coach Jeff if it was not for her. And I'm going to tell y'all this. What I was looking for was, I had asked her about a certification to do program to do life coaching. I just merely asked her because it's funny because she was cool with my sister-in-law. So since she was cool with my sister-in-law, they talking everything. And, my sister-in-law was talking about the certification for life coaching. I said, okay, cool. I was like, okay. So I was like, girl, I heard you, babe, you talked to my sister-in-law, send me that information to do the life coaching. Time went by, I got nothing. Come to find out, I realized that she was jealous. She thought that I was stealing what she wanted to do. No, I didn't. Once again, this is an inward journey of self. This had nothing to do with her at all. Shoot, if she wanted to become a certified life coach, she could have done it. It was out there. It was out there for her to take advantage of and do. Okay? You can't steal something from somebody if it's available to everybody, right? There it is. Boom, bada, bam. Dwell on that. You can't steal something from somebody if it's already out there and available for everybody else's usage. So she finally sent me over the life coaching information. I started the certification process, and I realized and said to myself, I said, Lord, this is what I do every day. And I love to do it. So let's go full steam ahead. Let's go. Let's make it happen, yo. So I went through the coursework and everything like that. Yo, I got my certification within like 2 weeks. 2 weeks time, I got my certification. And that was the best decision that I ever could have done. Oh, man, I love it so much. Oh, just to get the reward and gratification of helping others, and to look at the smile on their face when I have helped them. Excuse me. Just to look at the smile on their face when I have helped them. It does a world to me. It makes me feel great. When I look at how I was a broken individual, somebody who was sad, somebody who felt like they were alone. You know what I mean? And now, through all of that, now I actually have a chance to help guide people based on my own experience, but also based on biblical principles as well, because that's what I follow, a lot of biblical principles. So, and I dumb down the biblical principles, people, so it makes it easier for people to really understand, so I can meet them where they're at. And that's what I love about this, because we started off with a calling that was denied. And remember, I said earlier, didn't I say preaching comes in different forms? Preaching comes in different forms. You can have a different, a different role or title, but we could be doing the exact same thing to an extent. I told y'all, remember that. Because a life coach serves as the same role as a preacher or a pastor. You still have to make sure you look out for people, and you make sure that as you're looking out for the soul of the individual, and that's why I say the soul of the individual, okay? Because you harbor that person. You make sure that they're good. You cultivate them. You keep them close so that they can succeed. And I love every single moment and minute of it. So that's how I walked into my purpose of being a life coach. And I have been certified now for 4 years. 4 years. And redirect, regroup, refocus is looking good. We have some outlets that we are on. We're doing the podcast right now so y'all can listen. It is a great thing. So I just wanted to tell my story, and I'm not done with this, because what happened with this was, there's more. Hold on. There's more, because once I was with this woman, and then I was able to fully walk into what I wanted to do, she turns around, and I found out she cheated on me with her ex-husband. It got juicy, y'all. Yeah, she cheated on me with her ex-husband. She did. And which was fine and okay. Now, was I hurt? Oh, yes. Oh, your boy was hurt. Because, you get out of a marriage or something like that. You're looking for something fresh. It's not to, I want to say this, it's not to look at and say the grass is greener on the other side. No. That's not what it's about, because I know people will think that, but that's not what it's about. I'm going to tell you this straight out of the man's mouth, straight out the coach's mouth who went through it. You hurt because you weren't looking for something better. You were just looking for something genuine. Because I think that's the problem. A lot of times people think you're looking for something better. Now, some people are trying to search for something better. But I know for what this man was looking for, what I was looking for something genuine. Now, I had to break up with her. And I ain't going to lie, I tried to go back. It was tough. You know what I mean? It was tough. Tried to go back because you kind of look and see how things are. Sometimes people can have a hold on you, yo. People can really have a hold on you. And that was nothing but my own fault, because that was me being naive, blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. Whatever. It happened. I did it. But then I met someone. I met someone else. I met the beautiful woman that I'm with today. It is crazy, yo. We came up on our 1 year anniversary, September 19th of this year. So less than a month ago, we celebrated our 1 year anniversary of marriage. And I want to tell y'all, now I will say my wife's name. Her name is Megan. I love her so much. Man, when you, like I said, you're not looking for something better, but you're looking for something genuine. And I really have that genuineness in my wife. And I really do. That what I was wanting when I was younger, and that of which I was searching for after my divorce, I have that in this woman. And I'm grateful for her, because she just supports me. And what I mean by that support, people, is that she genuinely wants to see me happy. I had to deal with competition in my last relationship. I had to deal with somebody who was trying to affirm themselves so much because they truly didn't believe in themselves. That's what I had to deal with. Now, I don't know if she's like that today, but I'm letting y'all know that's what I had to deal with at the time. I had to deal with somebody who had so much stuff plastered on their walls, so many writings and sayings and affirmations on their walls, that they will wake up every day and look at those and have to convince themselves. Convince, not know. Because there's a difference, people, between convincing and knowing. Okay? She would literally have to convince herself that she is that person. But she never really believed it. It's wild. To the point to where at one point in time, it was just very interesting. And I'm not trying to revert back or revere, but I'm just saying this is what I went through. This is truly what I went through. And to show the difference in the dynamic of the type of woman that I'm with. So I want to say this. People don't give up on love at all. People do not give up on love. Because the thing is, you'll find somebody out there who is genuinely for you. You definitely will. And when you find that person, you will treat them so good, and they will treat you good as well. You know, it's great. I thank God for that every single day that I'm with somebody who understands me, who wishes to understand me, and I wish to understand her. You know, it's something, man. And we were together a short period of time. And I'm going to tell y'all, for people out there who don't believe in people being together for a short period of time, if you're serious about it, it'll work. If you are very serious about it and you are dating with intention, it will work. Everything has to be reciprocated. Always, all the time, everything has to be reciprocated. That's how life works. You know? If you're the only one doing one thing on one end, why would you go ahead and be that only person doing the only thing? Why would you be the only person putting in work, but the other person isn't willing to put in anything at all? Why would you do that? Why would you be in a relationship like that? Too many times, often so people, we do that. You know, we get with other people, and what we tend to do is it's one-sided. One person is doing all the work while the other person is just sitting and chilling, you know, and cool with everything. So that's my babe, yo. That's Megan Releford. I was so happy to marry this woman. Like, people don't understand, yo. Like, when you really find that good thing for you, it's something. Can't nobody take that away from you. So, in everything that I said I was going to do, I have been able to do that and more with my wife. So that's why I said I want to come on and tell my story, because I haven't done that enough. And I feel that I've done a great disservice, because there's somebody who can hear my story and it can help somebody. It might not be as down in the dumps or as gripping or me not having anything. But one thing I can say that is relatable to each and every person that I know of in this world, is that when it comes down to it all, we all have emotions. We all have feelings, right? That we deal with. So for me to not tell my story and see if I can touch one person, I ain't got to touch a whole nation, yo. I just want to touch one person. So that's all it takes. So I'm just grateful that you listen. I'm grateful that if you stuck it all the way through this 50 minutes, because I'm telling you, y'all know I like to be short, but today I had a lot to say. So don't give up on love, people. Don't give up on what God has called you to do. When you figure it out, you'll know. You'll know. Once again, I went from being denied, going through some trials and tribulations, trying to figure out who I was. Okay? Trying to figure out who I was as a person. But here I am today. And if you're wondering who Life Coach Jeff is, if you're wondering who Jeff Releford is, I'll tell you who he is. Jeff Releford is a man that is serious about what he wants to do, but still trusts God at the same time. And a lot of times that might not look right to people. Okay? When you serious about what you want to do, but you still trust God, that means that you still know that you have to take your time. Things don't have to be rushed all the time. Okay? Hey, man, like I said, we yawn here. Ooh-wee. Like I said, people here, we yawn. You know, we in the raw. We don't edit nothing out. This is what we do. This is what we do. This is what I do. I don't know what everybody else do, but this is what I do. So, yeah. But, you know, it's just really, really don't give up on love. Know that things are out there for you. Know that you can still manifest, cultivate, and harvest anything that is deep inside of you. Because the name of the game is this: it's consistency. It's always sticking to your guts. Okay, sticking to what you know God truly has for you. Because I didn't give up. I didn't give up at all, and I'm still not giving up. And like I said earlier, when you trust God, when you're honest with yourself and you trust God, okay, when you are an upright person and you trust God, when you try to embark on certain tasks and stuff, people not going to understand it. It's going to be people who are going to refer you to move the way that they want you to move, left and right, each and every day of your life when you are walking in purpose. That's just how it's going to happen. But you have to remember that you are still in the driver's seat. If you have to take your time, take your time. If you want to use wisdom, use wisdom. Because you have to remember, people aren't you. Those people aren't you. The people who offer you the suggestions, they're not going to touch the lives that you are going to touch. They're not going to reach the people that you are going to reach. Remember that. So when somebody offers you a suggestion, always take it into consideration. Always take it into consideration. Don't ever shun it out. Don't ever do that. But remember that they are not you. They won't reach the same people you're going to reach. They're not going to touch the same lives you're going to touch. Because y'all got two different callings. But the difference is that sometimes, not all the time, when you have certain people in your life and certain things in their life are stagnant, they think you're stagnant too. But there's a reason why you quiet and you don't say nothing. It's because sometimes you want to protect what you have. And you want to enjoy it for yourself. You want to enjoy the journey for yourself. Everybody's not meant to know your journey. I'm going to be real. I'm going through that right now. And I'm just being transparent about it because this is the truth. I'm going through that right now. Sometimes you have to separate yourself from inconsistent people so that you can be consistent yourself. Sometimes you have to separate yourself from toxicity so you can be happy. You really do. And this can be friends and family, people. Friends and family. Sometimes people will always be there. They might not celebrate you now, but they'll come back to celebrate you later. When they say, oh, like me and my wife was talking about, oh, I always knew you had it in you, blah, blah, blah. When really you weren't there in the trenches. You know what I mean? You weren't there in the trenches, so it wasn't really anything that you saw me, but you didn't see me. You know what I mean? So don't always try to seek the approval of people. Seek the approval of you. Are you happy with everything that you are doing? If you're happy with everything that you're doing, okay, keep going. Don't stop moving. The train doesn't end just because, people. The train does not, and I said all the time, the train doesn't stop moving. Jeff Releford gonna keep going, and you should too. So, all right, y'all, I hope that I really helped somebody today. I really hope that I did. And once again, I thank you for sticking out for this 55 minutes. Oh, man, because this is golden. I really thank y'all. It's been almost about an hour, and y'all stuck it through. Y'all the real ones out here. So, yeah, I'll be back again next week, people. We're going to be back again, around this time, ready to give y'all a little bit of, I don't want to say knowledge, wisdom, but just give you some guidance to help out a little bit. So, remember, redirect, regroup, refocus. I love y'all. Peace out. Thank you for listening and tuning in to the Redirect, Regroup, Refocus podcast. We do thank you and appreciate and value you as a listener. Now, I would like to just throw in, please follow us on social media. You can follow us on Instagram as Redirect, Regroup, Refocus, and also Life Coach Jeff Releford. You can also find me on Facebook as Jeff Releford. That's my personal page. Go ahead, give me a follow there. I always put up some good inspirational content. And also the business page, Redirect, Regroup, Refocus on Facebook as well. So, all right, you all, thank you for tuning in. And next week, we will be here again. Remember, Redirect, Regroup, Refocus. I love y'all. Peace out.